Okay, so in the previous videos, we've looked at the grouping of plants and animals, classifying animals and plants, the Latin scientific name, and adaptation. So in this video, we're going to have a look at survival and competition. Now, all living things need several things for survival. And we'll have a look at the plants first, and then we'll have a look at animals. So plants, obviously, for photosynthesis, require water. They're going to need sunlight. They're going to require some form of space in terms of growth. And we're going to require some nutrients as well. So by that we mean minerals in the soil. You could also argue that they require the carbon dioxide, even though it's all around them in the air, but they still require carbon dioxide for survival. And also, in terms of reproduction, they're going to require pollinators. Obviously, the flowering plants, such as the bee. Now, animals will require some similar things. So they'll need a water supply. They'll need their own space, sometimes referred to as territory. They're going to need shelter from storms, rain, wind. They're going to need a food supply. And they're going to need mates. Now, by mates, we're talking about reproduction. So you'll see there's some common things they require. But obviously animals don't make their own food through photosynthesis, so they don't require things like the sunlight and the CO2 and the pollinators. Now, what will happen is animals and plants will compete for all of those factors for survival. So, for example, with plants, it might be competition for sunlight. So if you're a plant that grows very, very quickly, and you can get your plant up really, really high and get your leaves, big leaves, spread out, any plants trying to grow thereafter below, the sunlight's going to get blocked. So they're not going to be able to compete for sunlight. So they might need to germinate and maybe start to come out at a different time of year, as some plants do. But plants do compete for sunlight. Likewise, they compete for space as well. Under the ground, their roots can be quite widespread. So what's going to be happening if you've got a plant nearby and they're trying to grow, there's going to be limited space for roots. In fact, some species like the dandelion, their roots actually give out chemicals which can kill off nearby plants, thereby outcompeting them for space. Weeds are a good example of this. Also, plants compete for pollinators because what they do, they produce flowers which have pretty colours and patterns on. They give out a scent. They provide nectar which attracts the pollinators in. So if they're very, very good at attracting pollinators, they'll be very, very good at getting pollinated and therefore reproducing. So their population survives. In terms of animals, animals will compete for all of these factors. They'll fight over their territory. They'll defend it like a pack of wolves. Will defend their territory often to the death. They'll fight over food. They'll compete over food. So some animals like the leopard, they'll actually drag their kill up into the trees. So other animals like hyenas can't eat it. They'll compete for mates. So things like deers, the stags, they fight with their antlers to get mating rights. So plants and animals require lots of different factors for survival, and they will compete with each other with the ultimate goal of surviving, to reproduce and populating